We the mafia. 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 Bills mafia. Bills mafia. We the mafia. We the mafia. Bills mafia. Bills mafia. We the mafia. Bills mafia. Bills mafia.
All right.
All righty, Bills Mafia. Welcome to another edition of the Mafia Cast. It is a great week, another victory week after we'll just say emotional week last week. How are you guys doing today?
Better than ever, I guess, if you can compare last week to this week. Wow.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, last week was a shell shock that none of us were really ready for. I think everybody in the Bills media was smart to just take a week off and take a breather and take a step back, But it's playoff time to get back at it.
It is playoff time. Let's talk a little bit about the game first of all, though. Against the Patriots, game was a little tighter than I kind of thought it might be, but at the same time, I'm not really shocked that it was a little closer. Only because you think about there's a lot of emotions going on. Like those guys had to be emotionally exhausted by the time that Sunday game came around. So I'm sure that played into it. What were you thinking when you were watching this game play out?
Well, you and I were texting, and I was telling you, I was like, I'm not worried. You kept saying you're worried, and I was like, I'm not worried. The Bills weren't losing that game no matter what. I personally don't care what the score is. I just want to win. Obviously we all want to watch them put up 7 straight touchdowns like we did in the playoffs last year and absolutely blow the doors off the Patriots. But it was just really nice just to get a win, get a win under the belt to finish off the season and the Patriots season yet again. That's a nice little streak that I'm really liking after my childhood growing up and the same thing happening to us. I don't know. I was happy. Naeem Hines taking that kickback was just everything that Buffalo, the city, needed. Not just the team, but that city. Jim Nantz calling, that was like destiny. That was perfectly written.
Yeah. Did you guys hear Chris Brown calling the game for the Bills radio?
I did not know.
I did not.
Oh, man. You get a chance to go and find that and pull it up and listen to it. He did a terrific job of calling the game, and the excitement in his voice. I'm shocked that he didn't lose his voice in that game, to be honest.
Was he taking over for John Murphy?
So, shout out to John Murphy and prayers up for him because, he did suffer a stroke last week. So he had to step down. Chris Brown stepped in for him and did a phenomenal job
that's awesome to hear. I have to go check it out.
But, when I was sitting here, my wife is unfortunately out of the country again on work stuff. So I was here by myself, and in some ways that's good because I was just I was jumping up and down, screaming and yelling, and not have to worry about embarrassing myself in front of anybody,
It's like you were at the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like when he broke free down the lines, like they're not going to catch him.
Oh my God.
This is unreal. Unfreaking real.
My dad was just walking in the house, or out of the bathroom, excuse me, and he was like, "What? What did I miss? What?" And I was like, "He's freaking going! He's going!"
Unbelievable.
It was just insane. And then the second one, that was pure comedy. That to me that was comical, And I tweeted, I was like, "If he gets a third, I'll just explode."
Yeah,
because all the threes that happened that day for Damar Hamlin, like that, it got kind of creepy to one point. Like everything was lining up too perfectly.
It is.
And like if he got that third, like I don't know, Bills Mafia would have just absolutely exploded.
Yeah, I one of my daughters had texted me when he got the second one, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, could you imagine if he gets a third one?" And I was like, "That'd be really cool, but in order to get a third kick return means we have to give up more points." So
yeah, that was all the backlash I got on Twitter, and I was like, "You are all so annoying."
However, there is another way it could have happened. If we could have got a safety,
exactly,
he had a chance for a kick
but
return.
it would have been a punt return.
But
sure.
It's like
still
a
return.
It's still a punt return. And Madden, they call it a punt return.
So speaking of, it would have been a return. So Casey and I were talking about this, Mike. I don't know if you heard about this or not. I heard it today on One Bills Live. Nyheim Hines is the only player in NFL history that has 2 kick returns in a single game and 2 punt returns in a separate game. That's nuts.
Really?
Like, think about all the returns and kickoffs and punts in NFL history, like 105 years of history, and he's the
Players
only
like
one that's
Devin
done that.
Hester and
Yeah,
things like that. Yeah.
Hester. One of the couple of guys that Steve Tasker mentioned was Derek. Oh, geez, what's his name? Eric Metcalf, Deion Sanders. There was some legit punt returns
Yeah.
back in those days too, and to have Hines being the only one that's ever done that is pretty cool.
Wow.
Scott here says, "Howdy, boys."
Scott.
I know that is. We might have some fireworks today between Scott and. Gosh, my brain is all kinds of messed up.
Long day.
And we'll kind of get into a little bit as far as what my days have been like here lately. I'll just back it up and I'll just say it. And this is probably why Scott's here to little support because Scott's a good dude. So you guys know this. Recently, my company I work for decided that they'd had enough of me, so I got laid off. I tell you what, the emotions of this past week between Damar Hamlin, the game, getting laid off, and everything. Fortunately, Scott survived the cut, as did my wife. So I'm not going to mention the company's name here because I'm not going to put them on blast. But it's a crazy week. But you know what? We can look forward to it. We can move forward to the playoffs, and I think that for me has been almost like an outlet to be able to just kind of escape life, my life anyways, and focus on, the team and the game. And it kind of got me to thinking, you look at this past, 12 months or so with Buffalo, and you guys have been a part of this more so than me, but you've had the top supermarket shooting. There's the two historical storms that have occurred. There's the injuries throughout the entire season. It's just like one thing after another. And it's kind of crazy because these things are not just happening to the team. Like the fans take all that in too. The
Right.
emotional connection that we make with the players and the team. Last week surprised me, even me. Like I love this team and I always have, but I did not realize I would be as emotional about what happened as I was. Like I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I shed some tears this past week.
Yeah.
It's been crazy week, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad the playoffs are here, so we can kind of start to put everything behind us. And we're going to talk about that Dolphins rematch here shortly, but
I believe it's called a rubber match.
Rubber match.
I like to call it rematch. It's just funner, more fun. Funner a word.
It's the more funnerest way.
It's the funneriest of all time. Yeah.
Guess which one of us has the highest education? I bet you can't.
It's got to be Ronnie.
It's got to be Ronnie.
What? No. Why would you all assume that?
I've got a degree though.
You do have a degree, or you don't?
I don't. I do not.
What about you, Casey?
Look at me.
I got my GED too. Let me throw that in there.
Okay, well, if I was going to go back to school, I'm about a year away from what I would qualify as a bachelor's. So I do have some college, but at this point in my life, I'm almost 47 years old. I'll be 47 next month. I ain't paying that bill to go back and finish. No thanks.
That's exactly why I didn't go. I was I'm not putting myself in that debt.
My wife and I finally paid off the school debt that we did have from college. She does have a degree, but which is probably why she makes considerably more than me now since I'm unemployed. But okay, back to the Dolphins game. Enough about all that other stuff.
Yeah.
There were some people were making kind of a big deal, I guess, of Buffalo's offense kind of struggling, and they did at some points. But they're like, oh, they were, they only had X amount of yards. I don't know what the numbers are. It's, like I said, it's been a crazy day, so I didn't pull up the specifics. But think about the two returns, though, was 197 yards worth of yards right there. So all that is, taken out from, what the Bills offense could have potentially had. And we'll take the kick returns all day, every day. I mean, keep the offense in the silence for all I care, if that's going to be the case. I've seen some people are like, well, you guys only won if it wasn't for Nehai Hines. Well, who's to say our offense wouldn't have scored those touchdowns in those drives still?
Exactly. I mean, that's shoulda, coulda, woulda. those arguments are dumb.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. Like, I hate that. Like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like, oh, if you guys didn't do this, this would have happened. It's like, oh, okay,
But
you could, because you have a
didn't.
crystal ball.
But it did happen, so
Exactly.
we win.
Yeah. What did you guys think about Mac Jones? I don't think that was Mac Jones wearing that jersey. At least the first 3.5 quarters.
It was Bailey Zappi
in the Jones jersey.
It was definitely
what was
Bailey
it, like
Zappi.
13 and 16 at halftime?
He was
Like,
looking
what the
good,
heck?
man.
He went 17
Yeah, he
for
was.
17 at one point.
Yeah. Oh, so
and still lost.
I don't know if
Yeah.
Belichick
Because
lit
he
a fire
doesn't
or
know,
something.
because he doesn't know how to throw the ball down the field.
well, let me ask you this.
Well, he can't push the ball down the field. Excuse me.
Well, I don't know if that's by design or if he just can't.
All his throws downfield are all lollipops. I mean, they are. I mean, think about that Micah Hyde interception last year in the playoffs. I was watching Bills replays today, like, just got bored and was just watching highlights. And it was the Micah Hyde, interception. And that ball hung in the air for so long. Scott, I have said this since last year. I said he is the four-man Kirk Cousins. Josh Allen? Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Mac Jones, he's not the answer. I mean, Patriots fans can try to convince him, just like us Bills fans did all through the 2000s, try to convince themselves he is, but he's not. With him at the helm, they're not going to beat the Bills consistently at all.
Yeah, well, probably not. Do you think his performance had more to do with our defense then? Or did he just have a good day against our defense?
I think he just had a good day. I mean, Devontae Parker went up and made some plays, man. I mean, a lot of those catches, that touchdown that Parker had over Elam, I mean, that wasn't bad defense by Elam. Parker just went up and got that football and muscled him,
Well, Parker's a good football player if he can just stay on the field.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they got him for those plays to go up and get him catches, and that's what really burned us down the field. But there was only, two of them. There was the one on the right side to Parker and then the touchdown to him. Other than that, everything was 10, 12 yards down the field at most.
Yeah, I've heard Devontae Parker referred to as Devontae Hammy Parker. The poor guy. I mean, it's unfortunate. When you have that kind of talent, you just physically can't stay on the field. That's got to be frustrating.
It's like Jarvis Landry,
Yeah.
Or even Michael Thomas at this point. We haven't seen him in 3 years since he set the catch record.
Yeah, I know. And in fact, I actually had him on my fantasy team, not this current season, but the year before. In fact, it was in a trade with Scott here and I can't remember who I sent over to Scott. He can probably remind me because he had an injury, and I had whoever was injured, I had the backup. So he and I traded 1 for 1. And I got Michael Thomas thinking, okay, I'll just send him on my IR. He'll come back in week 9, 10, whatever. And then they put him on the IR for the end of the season. Like, God, okay, well, that was a dumb move.
Hold on. Need to bring this back.
What do we hold? Oh my God.
Yeah, I already threw that up there, and I guess you guys missed it. But
no,
I know, but I figured with that fantasy trade that I had to bring that back up. That's a bum trade, Ronnie. Never accept him.
Herbert. It was running back Herbert.
Khalil Herbert.
I had Herbert. He had Montgomery. Montgomery got injured. We made the deal, and neither one of us really benefited much from it either way. So it was kind of a wash, I guess.
Trade. Good trade.
Yeah.
Good trade.
It worked out. But okay. First of all, good news we heard today. Damar Hamlin sounds like he's going home today, if he's not already home, like physically at his house.
I believe he is.
He's out of the hospital.
Yeah, he was discharged.
That is crazy. And
exciting.
A week ago, a little over a week, and with everything that happened, insane and crazy. And I hope that we never have to see that again.
Can I just say something real quick? Bills Mafia, no, he's not going to play this year. So why don't you just stop? I've seen that all day long. Do you think we bring him back this year? No, I don't think he's going to play football again this year. I'm sorry.
I say it as a joke sometimes over the, seems like a quick recovery.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
medical
But
staff, some of the best medical care you can get
Yeah.
around these players. But yeah, I
Well,
say it as a joke, but definitely there's no way that's going to happen.
Scott, this is a good point. Big time.
Oh yeah,
That's super cool. You got to wonder if the NFL was like, hey, like if it was going against the cap, if the more money would the additional money they're paying him would be going against the cap. The NFL was like, hey, like don't worry about it. If it was one of those things where they were like, no, we understand.
Take care of the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was a super cool thing that they did. There was a lot of super cool things going on throughout all of the other games. I think one of my favorites was, I wish I can remember the team and who it was. I believe there's an interception by whoever. He ran it. He was down, but he ran. I think it was the Colts. Yeah,
it was the Colts.
He ran it back to the 30, put the ball down at the top of the 3, and then all his teammates kind of knelt around and that was really, really cool. I told my girls that and Jamie, my wife, because we are all in this little group text. Like I said, none of us were in the same place, but 47, almost 47 years old, or is it almost 48? I don't remember now, but I've watched a lot of football. That is the most emotional game I've ever watched in my life. Like,
hard to top that.
Yeah, the Super Bowls that Buffalo went to in the 90s, the AFC Championship games, the comeback, all of the the games over, not even from Buffalo, but just in the NFL in general. I've never watched a game that was so emotionally charged as that one was.
Yeah,
and it was amazing. It was amazing to see basically the whole world kind of come together. The NFL came together, and for a few days, anyways, there wasn't a whole lot of complaining and bitching and crying, and then the NFL announced the seeding, and then everybody went back to complaining and bitching and crying again.
Oh,
like it wasn't expected. Like, oh
yeah,
surprise.
But everybody knew somebody was going to get the short end of the stick, and I think all three of us were in agreement that Buffalo's probably going to get the short end of the stick, and we all kind of were okay with it. Like we understand. Yeah, it's nobody's fault, but I guess if there's blame to be had, then I guess you put it blame, I should say. You put it on the Bills, and so I would have understood, like, hey, we're going to count this as a loss, make you guys be a 3 seed, blah, 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 that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it just it's just the way it fell, it wasn't anything that anybody did.
Right.
I would argue, though, that the Bengals got the shorter end of the stick.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. They did.
And I only say that because, they're doing a coin toss for that home field. I don't understand why if Baltimore and the Ravens, well, they are playing each other this weekend, why that game doesn't just be played on a neutral field.
That's what I was wondering, too. Why wouldn't be played like Pittsburgh?
So I do understand, the Bengals growth from that perspective. I think, obviously, ultimately, the Chiefs probably benefited the most because it put them in the driver's seat. And the one thing I will say about Bengals fans, first of all, the way that they handled everything when it happened, class act, phenomenal, and they were, awesome. However, there are some of the fans that, after the fact, and when the seeding thing came out, were saying that, well, Bengals are going to run away with that game against the Bills, so we should be the number 2 seed regardless. Or, well, we were winning, so we should just be considered a win. And 7 minutes into a football game, you cannot tell who's going to win. I get it. They were running down the field on us. I understand that. But we're also undefeated this year. I think, 5-0 when we're losing?
Yeah.
By 7 in the first
I had a couple
quarter.
parlays on that game, and one of the bets was that Bengals would be leading at half.
Yeah. So that game was going to come down to whoever had the ball last, in my opinion.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Who made the mistake and who had it last.
Yeah. This team has done a pretty good job for the most part this season as far as making adjustments, both in game and at halftime. So I have no doubt that they would have kind of figured some things out in that game. It was probably going to be a high-scoring game because even Buffalo was running down the field on their first drive, the only drive they had. And if not for – some people say a drop pass, some say it was a bad pass. Either way, I think both, personally. It could have been a better pass. Beasley did get his hands on it, so –
combination.
Yeah. And real quick – Ronnie would have been correct if Cole Beasley had caught that pass. Hines, Brown, and Beasley all would have scored by the end of the season,
So
and
close.
that would have
So
been
close.
absolutely insane.
So now he gets the
Yeah.
pie to the face, right? Or no?
Yeah, now he gets a pie to the face.
No. Why would I get it for being right? That doesn't make any sense. Hey, let me just throw out here really quick what Scott said. He might be done forever, all things considered. I doubt it. He's talking
I
about
wouldn't
DeMar
be
Hamlin.
shocked. I wouldn't be
I
shocked.
wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't play anymore, but just from listening to, the type of person he is, listening to the things that he's commented on, the things that the players have told us about him, I think he's going to come back. I don't think he's going to be like, no, I'm not going out like this. I'm coming back. Now, that gets us to the next thing that I want to talk about, though. He comes back, even if it's not this year, which likely won't be. We got Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Like, where does that leave Damar Hamlin? Is he relegated back to the bench again? Or, I mean, I hate to say this, but if Poyer doesn't come back, can Hamlin transition over into that Poyer role next season?
I think he's been playing the Poyer role more this season. I think they've used Poyer more as the Micah Hyde, the overhang safety, letting him play center field. I mean, definitely in the beginning of the season when Poyer was banged up with his elbow and the rib injury, he was definitely not up at the line of scrimmage getting the tackles that he usually did. But that's why he was getting the interceptions. He's able to sit back, read the QB's eyes, and get the interceptions. So I think that it would pretty much just be the same exactly what we're seeing this year, only with Micah Hyde back there instead of Jordan Poyer.
Yeah. Does Poyer come back next year, guys? Like, I'm afraid to say anything because he blocked me on Facebook or on Twitter, and I don't know why.
Maybe that's why he blocked you.
Interacted with him. I just had to throw that out there.
By his choice or
Bill's
Bill's choice? By his choice or Bill's choice?
Well, I think he definitely wants to come back.
Yeah.
I think he wants to finish his career in Buffalo. Like,
do you think he's willing to come back on a discount? Well, so hold on. So I've said this since they restructured his contract this year. I think that they gave him that extra $2 million this year as good faith. Be like, hey, we have this cash now. Let us give this to you now, because in this offseason, we're gonna need a break. And I think they're doing that in order to, like I said, hedge their bets and get him to come back at a cheaper rate because of his age. He does. I mean, he's been All Pro last year. He's deservedly so. But he hasn't been 4-time All Pro, Pro Bowler.
yeah.
So he's not going to get that Tyrann Mathieu paycheck because we saw what Roquan Smith just signed for yesterday. And now, what do you think Tremaine Edmonds is going to command? I mean, not $100 million, but it's going to be somewhere around 80, 85, I bet you.
Well, with the salary cap and all the sports betting money coming in, the TV contracts, they might be able to pull it off.
Yeah, I think they're going to. I really think they're going to get everybody back after this year. I think they're going to get everybody back with Ed Oliver. I think they're going to be able to sign him like decently cheap, kind of like what we did with Matt Milano. And I felt like we really got a hometown discount. Signing him, it was 4 year, $44 million. He could have got well over 60 if he went on the free market. So I think that will be like Ed Oliver will be like Matt Milano's deal. Well, Tremaine Edmonds is going to probably be the only one that really breaks the bank on us, and Poyer will sign another 2-year, $20 million extension, probably $12 million guaranteed.
Yeah, Scott says don't overpay for safety passes prime like we did. I believe he's referring to Harrison.
And there's a lot of comparisons in their games.
Yeah.
I mean, Poyer might get a couple more interceptions, but I mean, just the physicality style. I mean, Poyer is a lot like Harrison.
Yeah,
around the same age too, if not a little older.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure Scott could probably tell us how old Harrison is. All this talk about safety. Guess who showed up at practice today?
Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome?
Micah Hyde.
I love Micah Hyde.
Dude. What a turn of events this past week and a half. My God, like Damar Hamlin, our season is like completely like an afterthought. It's like on the back burner. Nobody gives a crap when that happens to Damar. And all positive news since that point. Now he's home. Micah Hyde looks like he's going to be ready to go at some point this playoffs. They've already deemed him out this weekend, but he is eligible to play in the divisional round. Jamison Crowder, back in practice today.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's that. So the Bills went from having Jake Kumro, Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Khalil Shakir, and Isaiah McKenzie, and that's it at wide receiver, to all 5 of those guys, to now John Brown, Cole Beasley, and Jamison Crowder. That wide receiver room just got real crowded real quick. So who's going to be?
Leave it to Crowder to crowd the room.
Yeah. But
okay, here.
That's all I got.
I don't know if I agree with this. But maybe I'll agree with it only because Poyer blocked me.
Hey, Smith's deemed as accolades, but it seemed like, Poyer didn't really get the chance when he was like super young, I guess I should say. He came up with the Browns, then finally in his late 20s came over to Buffalo. Smith, he was a star player right out of college, Yeah. So he has the accolades, but I'd say I'd bet you he'd take Poyer over Smith right now.
2 years difference in age.
And just look at the play on the field. I'd say Poyer's better than Smith right now.
At this point, yeah, for sure. Smith, okay. We're going to turn this into a Vikings conversation. Smith was hampered by Zimmer playing him in the box all the damn time. Zimmer was a bad coach. I will give him that.
Yes, he was.
He held the whole team back, not just Harrison. But
sure.
Yeah, so with all these receivers, who plays? We know Diggs is going to play.
Well, we know it's Diggs, Davis, McKenzie.
Davis had a terrible game, and they're not going to sit him on the bench. But he was 3 for 10. He's one of the tops in the league right now for drop passes. Career-wise, he's one of the tops in active players. Like, what? And I think a lot of that's inflated because of this season. I don't remember him being really having that issue prior to this year. But what is going on with Gabe Davis? Do we need to be worried about him going forward? Should the team look to maybe go elsewhere or what?
Maybe they. Yeah, they seem to be switching things up and moving guys in and out. So, you can't be dropping the ball this time of year.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's tough to see. But then again, you want to feed the guy and get him catching the ball because when he's on, he's a good receiver.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to give up on him. I didn't look at the numbers as far as those 10 targets. I don't know which ones.
I didn't realize the percentage was that low.
It was pretty bad. Not all of those were drops, obviously. Some of those I'm sure were just not catchable or whatever. But yeah, so John Brown showed us he still got the wheels. That was a fantastic play, phenomenal.
That was absolutely insane. I thought he was throwing that to Davis, and all of a sudden, when I see him dive, he could kind of turned just a little bit, and I saw the 6, and I was like, it was, oh my God, it was wild. It was it looked like Josh's second year, the first year with Davis, with Brown that year, when he was hitting him deep, burning them against Miami, so who knows? Maybe we're going to see that again this week.
We could, and I don't know. So I do know that when it comes to practice squad players in the playoffs, you have unlimited call-ups. So him and Beasley are eligible to be called up. Do they bring them both up, and if not, which one do they bring up? And if they do bring them both up, who sits? They can't keep all of these guys on the active roster on game day. So
they can stop activating 7 linebackers when we only play 2 on game day. That open up, maybe only do 5, and that would automatically free up 2 spots right there.
That's primarily because of special teams, though.
And I know, and that's been my argument because I've seen this same conversation on Twitter, and that's my argument against it is, well, that's where our special teams players are. They all basically they just play linebacker.
Yeah. Well, and as great as Nyheim Hines' returns was, those don't happen with those special teamers out there blocking for him. So
exactly.
And we know McDermott is really, really big on special teams. So I don't know. I would love to see both of them come up. But but I also want to see more of Khalil Shakir. It looks like the game is starting to slow down for him a little bit. The cover one guys did a thing on the one, he was caught one catch on 2 targets. I think it was like 27 or 29-yard reception, but they were commenting on how he looked polished. Like the route was really good. He, dipped the shoulder. He caught the ball and there was no hesitation. Like it looked like the game is finally slowing down for him. And it does give me some excitement for the future, but going into these playoffs, I don't know what Buffalo's going to do. And then Christian Benford too. That's another one. He's back off the IR, so he's eligible to play. And then, if Micah Hyde does get activated for the game day next weekend, I know we're looking ahead a little bit. I'm pretty sure we're going to win this weekend, but we'll get into that. I don't know. These guys have some decisions to make, and I have a feeling it's going to be some really good players that aren't going to make the roster on game day.
Absolutely. I mean, well, that's the joys of being a good team,
Yeah.
And some of your good players just aren't going to be active. And
as long as it works.
Yeah, but that's where you can pick and choose. All right, that we need to build our team this way this week. We need to build our team this way this week. That's the best part about it.
You can rest certain
I will
guys.
say, I will say this. I love Khalil Shakir. You guys know that, watching throughout his collegiate career here in Boise. It's the playoffs, though. I would rather have Beasley in that slot throughout the game and throughout the playoffs. Nothing against Shakir. I mean, he's still a rookie. He is still learning, even though it looks like things are starting to get better. Beasley's been here. He's done this. Even though he's not as explosive as Shakir, but he knows how to get open because he's been in this league for so long. Right. And that's going to be huge.
Who do you want in the slot between McKenzie, Beasley, and Shakir?
Beasley. I don't trust McKenzie. I love him to death, but I don't trust him. Sometimes he makes the play, sometimes he doesn't.
His hands. I don't trust his hands.
So, give me Beasley.
I like Bees.
I think I'd take him.
Yeah.
I mean, what about John Brown in the slot? He's got a little bit more speed. Throw him in the slot, kind of how we've been using Diggs in the slot to get that mismatch. And we've seen Diggs take off deep down the field before a lot this season out of the slot. I mean, throw Brown in the slot and on those deep routes and let Diggs come across underneath, and David and spread it out with Davis as well. I mean, that's your deep. That's going to be the deep action. Team out there this weekend. I think they're going to take a lot of shots against Miami. I think there's going to be a lot of kill shots. Mike and I were talking yesterday about the Patriots game, and he was like, it seemed like they were not going to give up on trying to take a deep shot. They just kept trying it because they know it's going to hit one of these times. They're going to get it's going to connect.
They're going to need that too.
Yeah,
eventually here. So
absolutely. Do you think they open? Let's kind of get into the Dolphins game a little bit. Do you think they open up the offense this weekend, or do they kind of maybe back off still a little bit? Like it feels like the last month or so they've been kind of backing off. They're not taking as many chances. Their play call is kind of vanilla. But it's playoff time. But it's the Dolphins, and I'm not trying to downplay the game at all, but they're beat up. No Tua. Probably no Bridgewater. Like you were saying earlier, Xavier Howard is beat up. Teron Armstead may not play, and I believe the other tackle might be out too. Or one of the two of them. Mostert, like the only thing that concerns me is
Bradley Chubb.
Chubb. The only thing that concerns me is this is a game that we should blow somebody out, and it seems like this year when that's the case, we don't. So, but we'll see. This is also. Josh Allen's a different player in playoffs. Like he just brings his game to the next, I don't know, like 3 or 4 levels above when it's playoff time. He's the same way in prime time. So I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do. It'll be interesting to see what they do going forward with Benford, especially if Hyde plays. Man, if Hyde and Poyer can get back on the field together down the stretch here, that would be just phenomenal.
I said it on one of our very first podcasts together, Ronnie, that I thought we had seen the last snap of Poyer and Hyde together. I really did.
I remember that.
And I have never been so happy to be wrong in my life.
I've never been so happy for you to be wrong either.
Well, hey, and that's
aside from when you were wrong and got the pie to the face, that was pretty cool.
I can't blame you there.
What can the Dolphins do to maybe
Nothing.
make this a game? Do you think that there's a way that they make it a game?
Slow the game down, run the ball, control the clock, keep Josh on the sideline, run
We're like
run
a
the
top
ball.
five. We're like a top 5 rush defense. Now, granted, the last time we played them was different. They did run it on us.
Oh, trust me, we remember Mostert was
Yeah.
like a bat out of hell on getting
Yeah.
the edge on those sidelines.
Yeah.
But
So
start running it, get the play action going. That's what Tua feasts on. That's what that entire offense feasts on is the play action and the RPOs. So this is going to be a big game for the linebackers. If Skylar Thompson can just control the ball, not make the mistakes, hit Will and Waddle and Hill on those slants and let him break one, he has to get the ball into the playmaker's hands.
yeah.
Other than that, they don't have a shot.
They definitely have some playmakers there. It doesn't feel like they do. Like it really feels like that this is pretty much going to be.
When you take two out of the equation, it really kills that.
Yeah,
it does. I think Tua has been a better quarterback this year than I expected, but he's still a limited quarterback. Like he's not going to take the top off the defense. I mean, you watch all of his deep throws, like you were saying earlier about whatever his name is. You watch Tua's deep passes almost every time Waddle or Hill has to stop or slow down or come back. So he's a rhythm quarterback. Everything is timing. If the guy has to be there, and if his first read isn't there, then he kind of just doesn't know what to do with it. And I do hope they extend him there in Miami as well.
Please. I hope they extend him and fire McDaniels. Please. Oh my God. If they do those things, I will be half a Dolphins fan.
Stop it right now.
Just because the Bills will destroy them every single
time. Scott here. So they stop, get the ball, and then run it in. Say that again. Reword that for me.
So he's saying when they have to come back to catch the ball, then you rely on the receiver to make the play. I think.
Yeah, he's talking about Will and Huddle and
Will.
Yeah, Will and Huddle. We need a blooper reel.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, it's been a week. All right, we have 7 minutes. Let's get to the keys of victory. Papa Ron, you go first.
Keys of victory. I think it's pretty. See, he understands me. Love you, Scott.
I understand.
I think we just got to go out there and just play our game. I think the key, hit some big plays, like we're more than capable of. I love to see Diggs get more involved in the game plan a week ago. So I love to see some more deep shots to him. And, I think some big plays. Pressure Thompson, Skylar Thompson, or Bridgewater, whoever it ends up being. I did hear today that it's a long shot for Bridgewater, but he still could start.
It'll be Thompson.
And neither one of them scare me. So, the last time we played the Dolphins, Bridgewater, he played in that game, right?
No. It was Tua.
Was it Tua?
Yeah.
Well, at any rate,
we were impressed.
Yeah. There was some game that Bridgewater was playing in, and he kind of surprised me a little bit with his ability to move around. I haven't seen a whole lot of Skylar Thompson. I don't really, I don't follow the Dolphins, so I didn't watch their games. Maybe I should more often, but I don't. I think pressure, big plays, those are the keys. And right. I'll give you my score. I'm going to go 31-17.
31-17. All right, write that down. I'm next.
Yes, sir.
I like what Ronnie was asking earlier. Do you want to open up the game a little? You want to open the playbook or not? I think a little bit. Want to get comfortable with trying different things, spread the ball around, and sort of play a good balanced game of football, and try to get guys involved and pound that rock too. So. Open things.
I would like to see some Cook in this one more.
Yeah. I love when him and Singletary are kind of both on,
thunder and lightning.
Yeah, back and forth. I like that.
Papa Ron, I will die on this hill.
You're going to.
That's fine. I will prove you wrong. So will Singletary, except the fact that he cost me $600, and I will never forgive him for that.
See, a true power back doesn't get knocked backwards. I'm just saying.
And lose 2 yards when you need 1 for $600.
Yeah. All right, what's your score prediction, Mike?
So the score, all right, 31-17. Ronnie's got, say like 34. I'll say 34 to 20. How about that? Bills.
There you go, Ronnie. Who's winning yours?
Bills.
Okay, just making sure. Making sure.
Yeah.
My keys to the game are, Josh Allen. I think he's going to feast. I think like Ronnie, said,
he owns the Dolphins.
I think he's going to be like, all right, remember that 7 touchdown showing I put out last year? I'm probably going to do that again. I think Josh is going to put us into the 40s. I think we're going to see an electric day.
Is it time? Is it time yet?
I tell you what, playoff Allen is for real, man.
It's true.
For real.
Absolutely. I think he's going to throw for over 350, 3 touchdowns, rush for 1. And we're gonna win 45-17.
45-17.
Wow. All right, I'm gonna throw this up here really quick from Scott. He says we're gonna win by 28 or 28-10. I like that score too. I mean, anything with a W, I don't really care. Like you were saying earlier,
pretty much.
I do like the bigger scores because I can relax a little bit throughout the game and not be on the edge of my seat right off the bat.
Kind of enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah. But one of my favorite stats with Allen is he has the highest quarterback rating in the playoffs in NFL history right now. And that's nuts. That's crazy.
I think that's going to continue this week.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be 34 degrees and sunshine.
Hey, before we get away
zero
here,
precipitation.
We almost forgot.
What do we got?
What'd you forget, Casey?
Our ads.
No. Well, we did, but no, that's not what we forgot. Not what you forgot.
Our wings.
Yeah. There you go.
How could you guys let me forget this?
Well, I don't know. Our producer is supposed to be controlling these banners here.
It's just such an emotional week,
Oh God!
All right, I'm going to work on putting the graphic up here. Casey, you take it away. What do you got?
I mean, Naheem Hines. I don't think there's anything else to say. I mean, he didn't win that game, but that first play, it pretty much felt like he won that game right there. And it seemed like there was no chance that they were winning that football game after that.
Yeah,
I said earlier in the show.
Is this the easiest wings of the week you've ever?
No, it was one of the hardest actually.
Get out.
No, because I was pretty close to getting it to Damar Hamlin.
True.
The fact that I mean, after a week of the entire world basically thinking he was probably going to be dead, that he's home in Buffalo and people are contemplating him playing football again. But just the fact that the situation that he was in brought the entire world together. For 3 days, nobody cared about anything. Nobody cared about politics. Nobody cared about favorite team, the seeding, anything. It was all, what the hell is going on with Damar Hamlin? Is he okay?
Right.
And it was really nice to live in kind of a quiet world for that short amount of time. So he did a lot more good than he thinks. And I mean, and not to mention, last time I checked, his charity's up over $8 million after a $2,500 goal. So I know that he wasn't put in a bad situation, but his situation made the world a lot better to me in the last for those 3 days. I know it's kind of back to a shit show that it's always been, but
it brought our community closer.
Yeah,
the Bills and the Buffalo community, we've never been tighter. It feels like
it seemed like the NFL community as a whole. So that's why it was one of the hardest wings of the week to make. So we'll give him an honorary basket of wings. How about that?
All right.
What'd you say, Ronnie?
You're muted. I can't hear you.
How's that?
Yeah, it's
much better.
All
I
right.
thought you were talking over there.
Yeah, I had to hit the mute for some reason. Anywho, Scott says I have nothing right now. So, I mean, hey, I got you guys. I got my
You
friends.
have. I was
got-
just
Hey.
about to say you have us, Ronnie.
Buffalo,
you know,
man.
and I have to give a shout out to my wife. She's awesome. She told me, so she texted me Sunday night because I took her to the airport 4:30 in the morning on Sunday, right? Sunday night she texted me and she's like, just wanted to check on you. You seemed a little bit more down this morning than you have been lately. And I was like, oh, I'm fine. It is what it is. Sunday was a little harder than others because I was here at home by myself and just my thoughts by myself. And she was like, well, I know we got like a kind of like a honey-do list, the room needs to get painted and this and that, but you should just take the week off and just relax. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're so sweet, but I'm getting some stuff done still.
Yeah.
That's just
It's
not
hard to
who I
stay
am to
still.
sit on my ass and not do anything.
Yeah.
17 straight hours of Madden.
Yeah. That's what
Hey,
you
that is something that has to be done as well. That is on that list.
Absolutely, it's got to be. It's got.
It's
When
all
you're
ab-
given,
it's all about
when you're
balance.
given that free range, you got to take it. Just a little
Yeah.
bit. You got to take the advantage.
All right, guys, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
My girls are coming over. We're gonna have some dinner. Hey, this was fun. It's good to be back
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it
after a
was.
couple weeks hiatus. But yeah, till next week, Sunday. You guys are going to the game, by the way. So
We're gonna
look
be
for those
smack
guys
dab
there.
right in the middle. Yeah.
Come check
Yes.
us out. We'll be at the Hammerlot and Mafia House.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Go say
Somewhere
hi.
around there.
Give-
We round the block, try to visit everyone.
Papa Ron might show up too. You never know. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys.
All right, everybody.
For the
Have
Mafia
a good
Cast,
one.
you guys take care. Go Bills.
Go Bills.